Thank you, everybody. Please, have a seat. Thank you, Dr. Biden, for that outstanding introduction and for putting up with Joe. I want to also thank Dr. Biden for being one of the thousands of instructors all across the country who make such a difference in the lives of students each and every day. So we are very proud of you for that. I want to thank President Templin and the entire Nova Community College family for hosting us here today. You can applaud for that. On stage, we've got a couple of my outstanding cabinet members, Secretaries Sebelius and Secretary Arne Duncan. Please give them a big round of applause. In the audience, we've got Secretary Salazar of Interior, Secretary Donovan of HUD, and Ambassador Ron Kirk, our U.S. Trade Representative. Please give them a big round of applause. To all the outstanding members of Congress who made this day possible, and I'm going to mainly single out the amazing Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Today, we mark an important milestone on the road to health insurance reform and higher education reform. But more broadly, this day affirms our ability to overcome the challenges of our politics and meet the challenges of our time. And when I took office, one of the questions we needed to answer was whether it was still possible to make government responsive to the needs of everyday people. Middle-class Americans, the backbone of this country, or whether the special interests and their lobbyists would continue to hold sway like they've done so many times before. And that's a test we met 1 week ago, when health insurance reform became the law of the land in the United States of America. And it's a test we met later in the week when Congress passed higher education reforms that will have a tremendous impact on working families and America's future. That's two major victories in 1 week that will improve the lives of our people for generations to come. Now, I've said before, and I've repeated this week, the health insurance reform bill I signed won't fix every problem in our healthcare system in one fell swoop. But it does represent some of the toughest insurance reforms in history. It represents a major step forward toward giving Americans with insurance and those without a sense of security when it comes to their health care. It enshrines the principle that when you get sick, you've got a society there, a community that is going to help you get back on your feet. It represents meaningful progress for the American people. And today I'm signing a bill that will make a number of improvements to these core reforms. We'll increase the size of tax credits to help middle-class families and small businesses pay for their health insurance. We're going to offer $250 to seniors who fall in the Medicare coverage gap known as the donut hole to help them pay for prescriptions, and that's a first step towards closing that gap completely. We'll make a significant new investment in community health centers all across America that can provide high-quality primary care to people who need it most. And we'll strengthen efforts to combat waste and fraud and abuse to make sure your dollars aren't lining the pockets of insurance companies when they should be making your health care better. Now, the debate on health care reform is one that's gone on for generations, and I'm gratified that we were able to get it done last week. But what's gotten overlooked amid all the hoopla, all the drama of last week, is what happened in education, when a great battle pitting the interests of the banks and financial institutions against the interests of students finally came to an end. You see, for almost 2 decades, we've been trying to fix a sweetheart deal in federal law that essentially gave billions of dollars to banks to act as unnecessary middlemen in administering student loans. So those are billions of dollars that could have been spent helping more of our students attend and complete college, that could have been spent advancing the dreams of our children, that could have been spent easing the burden of tuition on middle-class families. Instead, that money was spent padding student lenders' profits. Now, it probably won't surprise you to learn that the big banks and financial institutions hired an army of lobbyists to protect the status quo. In fact, Sallie Mae, America's biggest student lender, spent more than $3 million on lobbying last year alone. But I didn't stand with the banks and the financial industries in this fight. That's not why I came to Washington, and neither did any of the members of Congress who are here today. We stood with you. We stood with America's students. And together we finally won that battle. I don't have to tell folks here at Nova why this victory matters. In the 21st century, when the success of every American hinges more than ever on the quality of their education, and when America's success as a nation rests more than ever on an educated workforce that is second to none, we can't afford to waste billions of dollars on giveaways to banks. We need to invest that money in our students. We need to invest in our community colleges. We need to invest in the future of this country. We need to meet the goal I set last year and graduate more of our students than any other nation by the year 2020. And through the extraordinary leadership of Education Secretary Arne Duncan, that's what the reforms I'm signing today will help us do. By cutting out the middleman, we'll save American taxpayers $68 billion in the coming years. $68 billion. That's real money. Real savings that will reinvest to help improve the quality of higher education and make it more affordable. Now, we've already taken a number of steps through the Recovery Act and through my budget to significantly increase the support provided to young people attending colleges and universities all across the country. And President Templin handed me a sheet just as I walked in, just in case you're wondering whether this makes a difference. So far this year, and the year isn't over, right here at Nova, Pell Grant recipients increased by 41% over last year. The total dollar amount of Pell Grants increased by 59%. The number of federally guaranteed loans increased by 43%, and loan awards increased by 68%. That's right here at this one community college, because of the steps that we had already taken. So using the $68 billion that we're saving, that had been going to the banks, here's what we're going to be able to do. First, we will reinvest a portion of those savings to upgrade our community colleges. which are one of the great undervalued assets in our education system. Community colleges like Nova are incredibly important because they serve a varied group of learners, from recent high school grads seeking a pathway to a college degree to adults seeking training for the jobs of tomorrow. By forging private sector partnerships, community colleges can offer students the education and training they need to find a good job when they graduate. And it helps offer businesses the assurance they need that graduates will be ready for the jobs that they're hired to do. And because community colleges like Nova are so essential to a competitive workforce, I've asked your outstanding professor, Dr. Joe Biden, who does not have enough to do, to host